Bioenergetics is something I've been exploring for nearly a year now. I kind of first saw some stuff watching Elliot Holt's videos. So he was absolutely going nuts, like on the camera, and I suppose that was my introduction to dynamic meditation. And he was following a guy called Osho, and he actually had a few videos on Osho, dynamic meditation, and the different format or formula to get the most out of it. So we loosely followed that, but also did some improvisation. So when we first started doing it, we were doing lots of the back bending, so the bow, so bending over backwards and doing this kind of stuff. And what happens is, like, a lot of people don't like exposing their throat. They're opening their mouth and opening up their heart. There's a lot of vulnerability there, and especially for guys, we always want to protect and be closed in and be strong, you know, and not kind of reveal our weaknesses. And what this does, it really makes you open up that space, breathe right into it, and see what's in there, type of thing. And it can be really revealing, and it's very hard for a lot of people to actually be like this and like be exposed, be vulnerable, where you can be kicked in the nuts, kicked in the guts, have your heart kind of stabbed, you know. So it is a very kind of challenging process for a lot of people, but the more you go through it, the more you kind of break through those that programming and that shell, those barriers that you have, those conceptual barriers that are holding you back and stopping you from opening yourself up to possibilities in maybe your relationship, possibilities in sensuality, any of these kind of possibilities where you need connection, you need community, you need cooperation to be able to make it happen. A lot of life is, we get taught it's competition, it's flight or fight, you know, win or lose, those kind of things. But another part of life which is really awesome is when you can have connection with another person, with yourself, which is the most important one, but with a community, and get things happening as a community where it's not a war against someone, something, or it's not to see what kind of materials you can bring back to your nest from all over the globe. So it's a really kind of good way to connect in with yourself, and movement is a really underrated kind of way to unravel it. Because we do a lot of meditations are just lying there, you know, in your own space, no movement, in your own head. But when you kind of start shaking and moving different ways that are just all over the place, then something starts to happen, and something starts to unravel, something starts to shake to the surface, kind of not be so buried and hidden in a way. So you can actually, stuff that you don't even know is buried inside you, you can all of a sudden start to see that start to appear. And then when you have the awareness of it, then you can start to deal with it, start to understand, start to get perspective on what the pains are, what the stresses are in our own body. They're there for a reason. There's an intelligence in our body. Pain is like an intelligence in our body that is trying to give us a message on something that we don't have a full perspective on. So that is the magic that you can tap into yourself when you start to unravel that. It is so worth to get through the other side. We don't develop unless we're actually challenged. Unless we go through hard stuff, our bodies don't need to adapt, our minds don't need to adapt. So it is really important that we do kind of go there and not take the easy path, not just sort of put it to the side. And that's probably a common thing for a lot of people. They've got stuff in them that's been deeply buried from childhood perhaps, or something that's been blocked out, and they just don't want to actually get the gold that is hidden in there, the message, the learning, all of the foundation that they can create, because they actually verbalise what they've been through, and then show that they have the strength and the community and whatever it is to climb out of that hole and be able to conquer that gift, which is a big challenge that they've had perhaps in their life. So bioenergetics is awesome. I believe everyone should incorporate it into their life to some degree, even if it's just a shake, a headstand, something just to shake it out, get it moving. Kind of, if it's stagnant and collecting more debris, it's going to be more and more pain down the track, and harder to dig out, harder to unravel, because you've perhaps been building on that story, that one-sided story. You just haven't looked at a perspective from the other side. What you can learn from it, what can you develop, what insights can you get into why people kind of behave a certain way towards you, and how you actually possess that behaviour yourself, but perhaps in a different form. So yeah, bioenergetics, expose yourself, unravel those demons, those deep blocks. It is worth it.